Like, I get a lot of stick on social media saying that I chase for money and this that, and other, which isn't true at all. Hence why I leave clubs is because I want to play football. It's obviously a big factor because I've got 3 kids, so an expensive missus.
People forget we went 17 points behind Brackley the day we lost them. 17 points on the 14th Feb.
Hi everyone and welcome back to National League Lowdown with me, Dan. As you can see, there's a few of us here today. We've got a Gateshead special. Craig, how are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, looking forward to this one, mate. First time we've had 2 footballers on together, 2 teammates, past teammates come back together this season. And yeah, looking forward to hearing some stories about the Great Escape this year.
Definitely. Louis, how are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, good. Thanks, Ben. Looking forward to this one. Arguably the greatest of Great Escape. So yeah, looking forward to getting into it.
And we're joined by Gateshead players Keaton Ward and Brad Nicholson. Keaton, how are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, good, thank you. Glad to be back on.
Yeah, second time for Keaton, first time for Brad. How are you, mate? You okay?
Yeah, I'm all right, thank you. It's a pleasure to be on.
Yeah, good to have you both with us. So we've got loads of questions for you, obviously. Craig, first question.
Yeah, so my first question for you both, if it's okay, is what attracted you both to Gateshead? Because at the time, obviously, they were bottom of the league, struggling. What was it that made you sign on that dotted line? We'll start with Brad first.
Mine was the gaffer. Situations happened at L, which we won't get into great depth. Literally days after I spoke to the gaffer, and it were a no-brainer. I've been wanting to play under the gaffer for a long time. Obviously, he got his move when he did, but when I found out he was coming back to Gateshead, it were a no-brainer for me.
And Keaton, yourself?
Yeah, a bit of a different one. Me and Brad spoke when he'd left and we had a bit of a laugh and said, oh, shall we just go to the same team? Half joking, half being serious. And then within kind of a week, I'd already sorted with Altrincham that I was going to go. And then Brad rung me at the perfect time and just said, listen, I've spoke to Rob Elliot. He's going back to Gateshead. Would you be interested? I said, yeah, I'll have a chat with him, see what I think. And then within an hour of talking to him, it was kind of going to be nowhere else.
Excellent. So my second one, obviously, you're both talking about Solihull and Altrincham there. Why did you move away from them? Was it just a lack of minutes? Obviously, there was change in management there. Neither of you were frozen out completely, but you weren't probably getting the complete minutes you wanted. Was it wanting to be part of that first 11 and key vital parts as you have been at Gateshead? Was that the reasons for you, Brad?
Yeah. A lot of it, really. Obviously, I love playing football. Like, I get a lot of stick on social media saying that I chase the money and this, that, and other, which isn't true at all. Hence why I leave clubs is because I want to play football. As long as I'm on that pitch, I'm happy. Money is obviously a big factor because I've got 3 kids and an expensive missus. But don't get me wrong, like, that is a big factor in anyone's life. But I just love playing football, and that's what I want to carry on doing this for as long as I can.
And for yourself, Keaton?
The same. I was kind of in and out under both managers at Altrincham, under Parky and Neil Gibson. 2 great blokes. Nothing against them. It was, for me, the game time. I wanted a solid run of games, which I think I deserve, and proved myself at the level last year. But then on the other hand, I kind of, as I spoke about before, I just recently had a little one, and I wasn't kind of having much time at home with my family. I feel like I missed out on quite a lot at the start, because obviously it's not a short drive to Altrincham from Mansfield. So a big factor was being closer to home or with the family more, which obviously I've got here at Gateshead. I know it's not closer, but they've both been able to move up with me. So we're all up here together and we're just really enjoying it.
Yeah, and my final question for you both was actually, did you talk about the move? Obviously, you've made that clear already, but how much of a nudge was Brad giving you once he got in that, come on, mate, come along, we can do this together like we did last season?
It was exactly that, what you just said. When he rung me and said about it, and I said, oh, speak to Rob, sent Brad a message after and said, oh, yeah, he's brilliant, I'll definitely get sorted. And then probably he was ringing me more than my missus does for the next probably 72 hours, just kind of nudging me saying, come on, we'll do it again. And yeah, I trusted him and I'm very glad I did.
No regrets from you, Brad, about giving him that phone call then?
No, not always, obviously. As you can tell, it's been a big factor in us being safe, like, especially that goal at Braintree, but just unreal. I think
Cheers
it's
for that.
actually got the goal of the month, was it?
Yeah, it
One
won our
goal
goal
of
of the
the
month. Just to rub the salt in my wounds, just that little bit more about that one. Cheers.
Yeah. Sorry about that, but
They're not sorry,
No,
Craig.
no,
It
it's
was Keaton
it's a good lad.
retweeting all your stuff about the goal after it happened on the night as well. But never mind. I'm not bitter, honestly.
So that again, sorry, I didn't hear you.
Yeah, I'm not bitter about that goal, honestly.
No, it's it's made us safe, so I can't say anything.
But that's all the questions from me. I think it's on to Louis next for a couple.
Yeah, so my first question, looking more in depth at your great escape, the 3-week break that you had in January to February, you had the Hartlepool game on the 20th of January, and then you had the Boston game on the 10th of February, I think it was. Did that get treated like a mini pre-season? Because obviously you had a huge sort of squad turnover. How was that sort of period of time? Was it on the training ground or was there time off? Brad, if you want to go first.
I think it actually, exactly what you say. It was like a little mini pre-season, and the gaffer actually put it in them words. Obviously, we didn't have a lot of time together. Hence, the first 3 or 4 games we lost to teams we wouldn't lose to now. But that was just us gelling, us understanding how the gaffer wants us to play. And when all that came together, things started clicking, and we're still miles away from what we know we can be now. So what we're hoping to achieve next year is beyond what everyone's probably thinking.
Yeah, and yourself, Keaton, was there a frustration that you weren't playing, or did you see it as a patient thing and just go in as Brad and you said?
Yeah, it was a really frustrating one because obviously when I came in, I can't think what day I first trained. I feel like it was a Friday. We trained Friday, Saturday. We was meant to play against Southend on the Tuesday. Their game against Bath got cancelled on the day, so that one got pushed back. So then we had Rochdale on the Saturday, Hartlepool on the Tuesday, which, like Brad says, I don't think we lose the Hartlepool game, even probably with 10 men, if we had the group, not the group that we've got, but if we'd trained together that little bit longer, I still think at 10 men for 40 minutes, we're just so good defensively at the minute that I don't see us losing that game. And then I can't think, another one got cancelled. It might have been Wealdstone. So
I
then,
think it was the Braintree game, wasn't it?
I think
Just
we
keep
got
bringing that game up.
Wealdstone first was cancelled. So then that was after I spoke to you, we had the night out. And then we had no game for 2 weeks. And then we're gearing up for the Braintree game. Then that gets cancelled just before the Boston game. And I think that then we all spoke about, I think if we play against Braintree and win the game, if we would have, I think the Boston and Brackley game then become very different once we've got that duck off our back of losing the games. So it was just so frustrating. But during the time that we did have on the training pitch, I think we got so much detail in that it just became second nature, everything that we do.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing the lineup from Saturday's game just gone. There was only 3 players that were in Rob Elliott's first game when he took over, so the squad turnover was massive. And you obviously mentioned the Hartlepool game. I think, Dan, you watched it and you said that the red card changed the game. Before that, it was your game in that sense.
Yeah,
in that game.
you could totally see, sorry, Louis, yeah, you could totally see in that game just the fundamental changes from us Carlisle, we played just on Boxing Day. And the difference I seen from then to that game was just incredible. Like solid at the back, not giving goals away like you were previously, things like that. And you could see that it was really turning even then.
Yeah, that's what I think. That was just obviously off the back of probably a week, maybe 2 weeks training. And if you look at the squad for the Hartlepool game, I can probably only think of 6, 7 lads off the top of my head that are probably still there or still kind of playing every week, should I say. Obviously, these new signings, and I think we had a few lads in there that have gone on to new things. And I think it shows that even with the old lads, the fundamentals were still there and everything was being drilled into us as a group.
Yeah, I mean, that game, as you say, could be in turn point, but one of the games, obviously, that caught the eye of a lot of people is the York win. In terms of that game, was it a game that you approached any differently given the form they were on and how they were ripping up the rest of the league, or was it just seen as another game by Rob Elliot and the squad? Keaton, I'll come back to you first.
Yeah, I don't think there was anything different. I think a lot of teams play a certain way and then play against York and think, oh, we need to sit in a low block and hopefully keep them out. Where the week leading up to the game, or from the week before, the gaffer was saying, listen, we're going to go and get after him, we're going to go and get after him. Then we played Boreham Wood, and I think a few of us were at the back of the bus on the way home from Boreham Wood after losing 3-0, thinking, not sure we can go and get after these. And we did. We listened to what he said, and we did, I wouldn't say we did a job on him because we didn't do anything different to what we've done in our last 15, 20 games, whatever it's been. We just went man for man, got after him, scored at a good time before half time from one of my mates' long throw-ins. And then second half, the half time talk was don't sit off him, go and get after him. And then you go and get a second, we get a third, and I don't know if I'm out of line, but I don't think they deserve to score. I think the one that they did score, which Ollie Pearce does, unbelievable in the box. I'm not even sure that it was that warranted, if I'm honest.
Yeah, it seemed that way from sort of the statistics and obviously a clinical game from yourselves as well. Brad, anything to add on that? And did it feel like a milestone in Great Escape? Did you after that game think this is definitely, we're going to do this?
If I'm honest, you can ask Keats. I'm always positive anyway. Like Keats will come in full of anxiety, saying, "Oh no," like stressing, and I'll be like, "Listen, it's fine. We're gonna be fine. We're gonna do it. There's no stress." And I said the Banks game at the York game, I said to all the lads, I says, "We'll win this game, no problem." And they never actually hurt us. Like they had a lot of possession, yeah, they moved us about, but they never actually hurt us when it mattered. They put a lot of crosses in the box, which we ate up everything. So you obviously after the game, you're buzzing, everyone's on a high, but you just got to keep at that level where you think it's not done yet, but going in the right direction.
Yeah, it was a standout fixture of the week, and I think obviously it could damage York's title chances as well, which could be a bonus for the Rochdale fans. Dan, I'll help that to you for your next question.
Yeah, first off, I'm just going to ask Brad if he wants to come up to Carlisle anytime soon to bring his positivity up here as well. I wouldn't mind that, mate, if you don't mind. There's a lot of anxiety up here these days.
Is that to counteract your negativity about them?
Apparently, yeah, Mr. Negative here, apparently. Yeah, if you want to come up here anytime, mate, and spread your positivity, I don't mind. But yeah, my first question is obviously you put out Boston last season, another great escape. For me, I just wondered, was there any fundamental differences between what Boston did last season to what Gateshead have done this season? Keaton, I'll ask you first, mate. What do you think?
Yeah and no, because I think the way that we've done it this year, the way that we've played is a completely different way to what we did last year. I think we had a really young group last year that was, with obviously the manager, was probably half scared of losing. Whereas this year, I think we've kind of gone front foot, probably outplayed a lot of teams. And I just think the way we've done it this year off the back of such a bad run, I'd probably say it's a better escape. Maybe not by obviously as much points, but people forget we went 17 points behind Brackley the day we lost to him. 17 points on the 14th of Feb. And what are we now? Are we on the 15th today and we 11 above them, something like that?
Mm. It's been an insane turnaround, hasn't it? Yeah,
so I'd say yes and no, just for the way we attack games, probably.
Yeah. Brad, anything else on that?
Yeah, he covered it really. We were more last year. We grinded results out. We were dogs in a sense, like we were just horrible to play against. Whereas this year we did it in our manner. Like we won in our way, and like it weren't luck or we didn't have to scrape results out. We actually just went and took it to other teams.
Yeah.
Sorry, Dan, can I just jump in on that one? Sorry, because of the style this year, do you think it makes it easier to go again next season and climb the table effectively? Because you're not trying not to lose effectively, we're trying to win every game and play with good style. Do you think that will make it not easy to win next season, but easier to continue this rather than obviously Boston? There was a lot of changes afterwards. Do you think it'll be easier to continue this momentum next season because of the style?
Yeah, 100%. I think with the gaffer as well, his detail is like second to none. Like I don't think there's many other teams will get that detail in this league, especially, and maybe the leagues above. And we've got the players to do what he wants. Obviously, we're not a finished article. Like no one's ever said that. So we're gonna keep striving to be better, and we want to see how far he can take us next year.
Yeah, like I said, like you've talked about Rob Elliot, we've talked obviously glowingly about him. I just wondered if there was one thing in particular that you can both think of that he's done, obviously, when you arrived to galvanise the team, to give you that belief. Because, like I said, at one point in the season, Gateshead had lost 16 games on the spin. To turn it around the way you have, is there anything in particular he's done, Brad?
For me personally, it's just how he is as a person, like forgetting football and forgetting everything. Like he's literally a phone call away for if you ever need anything for family, yourself, like anything. It is literally there for you straight away, and that goes a long way, especially for football lads, because a lot of people are willing to throw you under the bus for nothing. So when you find someone like that, you have to keep hold of it.
That's brilliant. Like you always think with like fans as well, that's the kind of the side we don't really see. So that's why I always ask about them things, because we just sometimes assume that footballers are just robots and things, and it's about personal life as well and things working out and having that relationship. Keaton?
Yeah, I watched his post match in the changing rooms. I think it was after the last game, was it? And you saw that personal touch. He didn't really talk about the performance. He talked about the orders as people rather than players, and you can buy into that, can't you?
That sums him up. That
He's gone missing. He's gone missing. Oh. But yeah, I like that speech that he done as well. He was out of breath and getting all emotional, wasn't he? It was like
he'd just been bouncing around the changing room about 2 minutes before that. That's why.
oh, why didn't they film that bit? But yeah, like you say, we speak glowingly, obviously, of Rob Elliot, and he's done such a good job, and you guys have as well. Keaton already obviously mentioned it, Brad, but I just wanted to ask as well, cheekily, which one was better, Boston or Gateshead? But he's obviously kind of touched on that anyways. Which was the better escape?
I think you have to just say Gateshead, just for the simple reason of everyone had fully written us off. You've just obviously, if I'm honest, some of the lads in the changing room were thinking it's impossible. But you've just got to, as long as there's more that believe than not believe, then you've always got a chance, and you've just got to hold on to everything you've got, really. And I am one of them I actually stood up when I first went in, and it was a bit embarrassing, but I stood up and said, I've done it before. It is possible. Everyone's just got to stick with it, stick with what the gaffer wants, stick with how he wants to play, and it is achievable.
Yeah, and just one other thing I wanted to mention as well was obviously the recruitment. Obviously, you guys included, but I feel like every new signing that Rob Elliott's made has absolutely hit the ground running. The goalkeeper, Mark Beck's played his part, Botswain, like everyone has just pulled together, and it's been incredible to watch. The recruitment, obviously, that leads into the summer as well. So then get the recruitment right. What do you think that the plan would be for next season? Is the aim next season to do obviously better than where he's were? Do you think he's can go for the playoffs next season?
My aim, personally, is to do, obviously, what no one will be expecting, and is go and get promoted. Gates had been there before. Obviously, circumstances didn't let that happen. But there's no reason with this squad, and maybe a couple of touches here and there, that we can't be right up near the top.
Yeah, I agree. I think what Craig said earlier on as well about the ways have played and the ways have done it, it does seem like he can just carry that on. And there's such a strong bond there. Keaton, obviously, you disappeared on us there a little bit, but we are just saying about Rob Elliott's speech in the changing room at the weekend. And Brad obviously mentioned that he's been jumping around a bit before, so that's why he was a bit out of breath and everything. How has Rob Elliott been? And then obviously what one thing, I think that was what I asked you before you disappeared, what one thing has he done to galvanise the team and give you that belief? No, we couldn't.
Yeah, look, I don't know why. I could hear everyone, but I don't think anyone could see me or anything. But as Brad said, he's just away from football and in football, he's just the greatest bloke ever. The day that I moved down, obviously, Brad stayed the first night in my apartment where we'd moved to, and he just rung me and said, "Oh, come and get." He had a TV, a George Foreman grill, like everything I needed. He was like, "I'll just take it, like, don't worry about it." So then I knew he was a good person. But the thing that sticks out to me, we was on the back of all these bad results, and he put a table up. The first 7 games from Boston to whoever, he says, get 10 points there, get 10 points in your next 7, and get 9 points out of your last 5, and you'll stay up. And it was kind of, then we lost to Boston and Brackley. And it's like the end of the world. Everyone, we're going down. And he's just said, listen, you've now got 5 games to get 10 points. And it just worked like that. And then we got 10 in the first block. We got 14 in the second block. And then we're now 3 into the last 5. And we've got, what have we got? 7? And it's just like, no matter what he just said, don't listen to the outside noise. This is what we're going off. And if you follow this, you'll stay up. And it's just that simple, that you take your head away from probably everything you see outside of it. And that's what he does so well. He just blocks
When you
everything
say
off
the
on
outside noise,
outside,
do you
and
mean people like us saying that you were
that's why we've
doomed and you were
probably gone on
definitely
to do
down?
what we've done. Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of that. But listen, I think a lot of our own fans wrote us off, which, fair enough, it's probably something that no one's seen in the league. Someone losing 15 games, whatever it was, in the league in a row. People don't tend to see that. It's strange for anyone. So yeah, there's a lot of people.
And it
that wrote us
definitely
off,
brings
but
that
they did it last year
togetherness
at
as well. When
Boston.
you think, you know,
And it's
like the
good to
siege
prove
mentality,
them
isn't it?
wrong.
When you think everyone's gave up, it gives you that extra bit of oomph, doesn't it, behind it? And I asked Brad as well, Keaton, obviously, what's the plans for next season? Promotion, playoffs, anything like that?
Yeah, I think we'll probably have our own targets that we'll probably keep in house. But me
And
personally, I want to
obviously
be
as well,
pushing
what
up
Chris said about the way
top
he's
end of the
got out
table,
of
pushing
trouble
them
and
playoffs,
played
definitely.
your style, implemented it and everything, and the recruitment's been absolutely spot on. Like, it's easier to continue it next season, isn't it? So I definitely think next season you can just carry this form on, really.
Yeah, no, 100%. I agree, and I think you see the teams that we've took points off: your Yorks, Southend, Carlisle. If none of them are to leave the league this year, they're all going to be up there again next year. And you go away to Carlisle, away to Southend, home to York. If you take
Yeah,
5
definitely,
points from them 3 games next year,
And then my last question was
anyone
just got
snatch
a
your hand off.
bit tongue in cheek, really, because obviously I know you guys are loving Gateshead and everything, but I just thought, is there a team you're planning on saving next season, making a hat trick next year, or you expecting a bit more? Do you want a bit more of a stress-free run in next season?
I don't even know.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah,
Either.
I won't be leaving here next year for a
Straight, like,
relegation
I
battle.
don't mind the stress. Like, I think that makes me play better, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I just want it to be at the other end of the table. I want to be stressed in the playoffs or something like that, or stressed trying to win the league.
Different kind of stress. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. That makes sense.
I was going to jump in terms of the rest of the league as well.
I'm just going to run and
Since
get a
you've come
charger.
in,
Be 1 minute.
what team is the other team that you think, they're a tough team to play against, and looking towards next season, would you think would be up there, hopefully, with Gateshead?
Obviously, depending on playoffs, like Boreham would give us a tough time. But we just weren't at the races that day. Like me especially, that's probably one of my worst games for Gateshead this year. But it's just, I don't know really. Like, I haven't played against anyone that I've been like, wow, they were different. There's no one that's really stood out. Like Rochdale, I think they had 2 chances, scored 2 goals. Like we had chances, didn't take them. York, obviously, we what it were. Carlisle, just a boring game, really. It was just a nil all over it all game. So I don't think there's anyone that's really threatened us. Obviously, there'll be teams coming down, teams coming up, which always cause problems. But no, there's not. I don't think there's anyone to be scared of.
I don't know whether you've caught any of that, Keaton, but is there any teams that you've played against so far this season for Gateshead that you think are the competition for next year in terms of going up or getting in those playoff places?
Yeah, like the teams I said, York. I know we beat them, but I do think York are probably the best team in the league. And I think I said that on the pod. I think what Rochdale have done, the defensive side of it, the first half of the season was unbelievable. But I think York's quality probably has shown now. So that they'll be a team if they're in the league 100%. But like Brad says, fear no one. You go away to Southend, you go away to Carlisle.
I'm
and
just
get
going to mention,
2
obviously, you said
points.
about the Carlisle game,
I
Brad.
wouldn't fear
I
anyone.
believe Keaton hit the bar with a volley in that game, so it wasn't a boring bill. So something did happen.
Yeah, they were a bit here and there, but like I even spoke to Regan Liddy and he was like, "This has got 0-0 all over it," and I was like, "100%, 100%." He should have scored, by the way. He didn't take his chance.
He did. I think I messaged Keaton after the game and I said, when Liddy cut in on his right and I think he hit the outside of the post or put it wide or something, I was like, when he's not finishing them, because that's his bread and butter, we're not scoring if we play all day. Yeah, you guys were solid all games.
Yeah, that's. I mean, I think
Yeah,
if that dropped again, if that chance dropped again,
I think 9
we
times
lose
out
the
of 10 he
game 1-0.
buries it, doesn't he? And that was the one time
Because
that he
doesn't
didn't.
tend to miss 'em.
But that game in particular, I thought the boys in goal was quality.
Yeah.
Defensively, he was solid, and that Keaton was unlucky in the first half with his volley as well. So it was a tight game, and 0-0. Yeah, probably it sounds boring, but I didn't think it was too bad a game really. But yeah, so yeah,
Sorry, Brad, for you, how good is the goalkeeper?
Yeah,
Obviously, he's coming a little bit later than the rest of you, hasn't he? But how good is he? 'Cause he
No,
looks
he's brilliant.
fantastic.
Brilliant. Don't get me wrong, he's got a bit of a screw loose. But yeah, to be a keeper, I think you have to. But no, he's brilliant. He's been a massive part of us staying up. His distribution is second to none. And his savings, he's unbelievable. I ain't got a bad word to say about him.
Keaton,
Beautiful.
think to add?
Yeah. Nothing to add. I just think a keeper who's come in for maybe 10 games, if that, and I'd probably say he's saved us 7 points. And people talk about goalkeepers at the top of leagues, winning them leagues, saving them 10 points a season. I think 7 might be a bit harsh. Some of the saves he's made, the Braintree game, we probably should have been dead and buried. Again, the other day, he makes a save in the last minute when we know we're safe anyway, but he flies across his net, tips one out the top corner. He makes a couple first half. I just think for a
he was
goalkeeper
brilliant
to
that
come in
Braintree
and
game, but
have
we don't need to talk about
this
that
much
game
of an
anymore.
impact is just
I'm
a
done
massive
with it.
credit to
I
himself.
feel like we should bring it up one more time for old time's sake. Goal of the month, if anyone hasn't followed it, was against Braintree.
Cheers, Dan.
Just in case anyone didn't know, we'll just mention that again. But yeah, that's it from us anyways. Thank you to Brad and Keaton for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure, lads. Congratulations to Gateshead on a fantastic escape, the greatest of all great escapes, in my opinion. Absolutely loved it, lads. Thanks for coming on. Louis and Craig, as always, as well. Thanks for joining me. And don't forget to like and subscribe while you're here as well. I think I said on the last one, there's a new thing you can do on here. Hype. I don't know what that means. But if you can press it and do it, feel free to do it as well. But yeah, that's it from us. Take care, everyone. We'll see you next time. Thanks.
Jay.